Hello everyone, Seán here for WhoCulture, and we are going to go through all of the ups and downs for the second of the 60th anniversary specials for Doctor Who, this one of course being the Wild Blue Yonder. Now, everyone who was hoping to see Ellie this week, she has been in fact removed from life. Nah, she's outside of the space-time continuum and she will be back very soon. So I have been offered to step into the breach and I am so happy to do it. So let us get straight to it. We're going to kick off straight away with an up this week, and that is for Isaac Newton. Now, this had been teased during the week by Russell T Davies, and there was little clues to apples filmed in the wide open, and, you know, that no one had guessed what was coming. And actually, I think there might have been a mention as well to gravity during the week, and, you know, we kind of had a chat here and went, it's gonna be Newton, isn't it? Yeah. And it was so much fun. And it was just nice and bright and simple. He's sitting under the tree and some terrible passers-by, they shake the tree, which causes an apple to fall on him, which means he is able to come up with a very important idea. But before he does, he looks up and sees Donna Noble and the Doctor leaning out of the TARDIS, which is of course sitting in this tree. And the fact that Donna turns around to the Doctor and says, "What, do you have this thing set to famous?" And I thought, sorry, that's an up. I loved that so much. Just setting the comedy of the two of them up so quickly together. It is something I'm going to obviously revisit in the course of this, but that really tickled me the right way. And of course they leave him with one of the most important ideas in the history of mankind. Mavity. That's an up. Now, the TARDIS then arrives on a metal room, because for the moment, that's all we know. Now, I have something that's going to become more apparent and more understandable as the episode goes on, and that is a down. This episode has very jarring tone changes. Now, it's not the end of the world, don't worry or anything like that, but we go from this very flippant, funny opening to Donna is frightened. The Doctor is there on full "I will get you home" mode, and it's not a comedic scene at all. And look, if this was the one change in tone that we had in the episode, I'd be like, listen, it's fine. We open up soft, so we go into the main body of it. But there's an awful lot of this back and forth, at times seemingly bizarre tone changes for this episode, and it kind of stood out. And as I say, this is something that'll become a little bit more apparent as this episode goes on. The TARDIS then, as we sort of knew, because they have to get stuck in a situation, the TARDIS is going to out of there. Now, there is a fantastic exchange between the two, between the Doctor and Donna, where Donna goes, "I'm sorry, it's my fault," and the Doctor goes, "It's not your fault at all," and then it kind of comes back, so "You spilled the coffee," and it's such good friendship between the two of them. And I love this because, you know, leading on from the Star Beast into the Wild Blue Yonder, we get just that. It's like sinking back into a warm bath. Seeing the two of these back together again, it's like no time at all has passed. But also, crucially, a lot of time has passed. And again, we get really strong examples of that as the episode goes on. One of the standout scenes, and obviously this entire exchange, is fabulous and, you know, probably warrants an up on its own. I'm saving an up for a bit now, bear with me, but there's one that absolutely got a belly laugh out of me. It's when they leave this antechamber that they're in and they're walking along this long corridor. Yes, Russell T Davies is back in charge of Doctor Who, everyone. Donna Noble. Catherine Tate, give her real name, but Donna Noble. Trevor says, "Sorry, can I just say, Isaac Newton was hot?" And the Doctor goes, "He was hot, yeah. Oh, is that a thing now? That's new." To which Donna doesn't miss a beat and says, "It was never really far from the surface." Up. Again, these two are mates. It was established early on, and it has never faded a little bit. And this kind of banter, it's so natural, and it's so upbeat, and it's so fun that I absolutely loved this entire bit. But down, Doctor, where do you get off being such a dick to Jimbo? Jimbo, the lovely little robot, appears here nice and early. Now, he's been shown on social media and stuff like that. He's just doing his job. And as we find out, he's really just doing his job. And the Doctor's a bit like, kind of, he's a primitive little thing, Now, he does throw an apology in there, and I appreciate that, but I'm not taking that down back, Doctor. So this is it. This is our mystery of the week, which is, where are they? Why are they there? What's going on? And why has the TARDIS run out of there? Well, it didn't nip out for a coffee, because it doesn't like that, apparently. We get up to the bridge, thanks to a very handily placed car. I did enjoy the car, I'm not going to lie. And they get up to the bridge, and they look out, and we get that shot. Once the drone leaves its little bay, and we get to see that entirety of that ship. It's giving World Enough and Time, that enormous colony ship. We're getting strong, and I have to say, Danny pointed this one out to me, and I completely agree with him. Strong sunshine vibes, which I was horrified to find out was released in 2007. I'm not that old, am I? The music, the panning shots, everything, it was really evocative of this, and I thought it was a brilliant scene altogether. So all of that is an absolute up. And again, we got classic Doctor and Donna. It's an empty chair, and the Doctor being the Doctor. Actually, there's a really nice moment. It says, it's the TARDIS that translates everything, not me. Donna goes, well, don't you know like 27 billion languages? He says, actually, I know 56 billion 205, but I don't know this one. I have a down, and the down is the Doctor talking about how he's come to the edge of the universe and he's never been there before, and poor humans can't he's not being cruel, but he says poor humans can't comprehend the nothingness at the edge of creation, because there must be an edge. Fine with the concept of nothingness. I've never been to the edge of the universe before. I guess it's a down for me, because there's been a lot of talk of hopping outside the universe and to the end of the universe. And so quite frankly, why would the edge of the universe be so awe-inspiring for him? If I'm being kind, it's literally a place he hasn't been to before. Okay, fair enough. But it's given that kind of resonance that, we must all bow down and be in shock. And yet I'm getting, memories of 12 speaking to me at the end of everything, which to me is a much more frightening idea, that all of creation, all of history is collapsing in on itself. And then, of course, you think of 11 hopping outside the universe, going to House, and when Seán Jones played the TARDIS. I'm not trying to take a big giant dump on the scene. I'm really not. I just thought it was given such reverence, as though we've never been this far out before. Possibly in terms of miles, but not in terms of imagination. Back on board the ship, the Doctor finds the important MacGuffin room. Love it, that's all great, which sets them up for a really good gag that I have to say I really liked, which was they open the drawer and he takes out and he licks the space honey. That's what I'm calling it, licking the space honey. And it's exactly what the Doctor would do. I thought it was really funny. And I thought, but also, yeah. And then he kind of plays the trick and says, oh my God, I'm so poisoned. Yeah. How many times can I say how much I love the fact that the Doctor and Donna are back together again? No, really, let me know in the comments. How many times? There's an unfortunate part of both this scene and there's been references that came before and they'll come again later in the episode. And that is, I know Donna's been out of the game. All right, it's been 15 years. And I know poor Donna, from her point of view, she's only just got her memories back. And I am being kind in saying this, but knowing what we know about the TARDIS, knowing what Donna knows about the TARDIS, this mission is not just to get off the ship, it's to get to the TARDIS. An awful lot of time is spent on going, Seán will wait there forever, but Rose will go on with her life and everything. And I really like that description. But that is such a defeatist version of Donna that because it doesn't allow for the fact that if there is anyone else in creation who knows the TARDIS is a time machine, it's Donna. I think this was insert for the audience's benefit. And there are precedent for this. We have like, oh, I'll bring you home, Rose. Whoops, it's been a year. Don't worry, there's plenty of precedent. What it is to me is a little bit of allowing for the gag at the end of the episode at the expense of some of Donna's confidence. Having said that, the scene allows for a few moments of this beautiful, funnily enough, this beautiful back and forth between Donna and supposedly the Doctor, and the Doctor and supposedly Donna. And it's a really sweet opening to this scene. We have the supposed Doctor talking about how he loves Wilf, which is just right there in my heart. I probably think I'm not alone in that I pretty much clocked the moment he walked into the room. It's like, that's not the Doctor. Now, supported by this were comments that director Tom Kingsley made previous to this, that this episode as a whole gave people chills of Aliens and The Thing. I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know initially whether they would be good guys or bad guys. Over in the other room, where the Doctor is talking to supposed Donna, the game is given up a little bit more quickly. And I suppose it would be. I mean, the Doctor is sort of tuned to these kind of things, isn't he? The supposed Donna effectively gives the game away by saying, my arms are too long. Okay, my arms are too long. Okay, my arms are too long. And it does take the third time, but I suppose Donna's Donna, to be fair. And the Doctor goes, this is wacky alien nonsense, isn't it? But that twist, that's an up. Now, as I've explained, unfortunately, poor Ellie was unable to watch the episode live and was out at a concert, so I hope she had a great night. But I do know that that concert would have been interrupted by the psychic link that Ellie has with the music of Murray Gold. So when Gallifrey is mentioned and that theme tune plays, it's only for a few seconds, I know that we all felt that ripple in space and time. That was Ellie combusting with happiness. And it would be remiss of me not to give Murray Gold, obviously Gallifrey theme itself, but Murray Gold, what we are 2 for 2 with 2 specials of his music just doing such, not heavy lifting, because everything is firing on pretty high caliber here, but it's doing a lot of lifting. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's reawakened in me something that had been a bit dormant for a while, which is the music of Doctor Who. We had some beautiful stuff under Sega Nakanola, some beautiful stuff through all of Murray Gold's previous one, but this feels like a new fire has been lit under his music, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to get this out of the way because I don't want to seem mean, but a whopping down has to go to some of the CGI of this episode. The ship looks great if you look at it for a second or two. Outside, love it. It's in the context of an entire CGI universe. Inside, when they're walking that corridor, they're clearly walking on a treadmill on the green screen. No, I'm not so silly as to think that they built a massive set for this. Why would they? But there are some bits where just the CGI, it's a bit hard to ignore. Now there's also, I get that the first bit of it was practical. The long arms on the Doctor and the extra leg joints on Donna. I get it was practical, and at points for that, honestly, please, 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 more practical effects in film and television. But it did look a bit bloody silly for a while, and the problem with that is that if these are terrifying creatures, that's a bit difficult to take seriously. Now, if we look at the inspiration for some of this, which is of course John Carpenter's take on The Thing, or I suppose The Thing in general, but if you think specifically of John Carpenter's movie of The Thing, Rob Bottin designed those incredible practical effects for that film. Some have aged better than others, that's fine, but the thing is, they were really in the room. They were horrible. They were otherworldly. And when you look at this, the Doctor's got long arms. And Donna's got an extra knee. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that at 6:30 on a Saturday evening, they were going to try and put on the entire, The Thing. But this is where perhaps an allusion to an earlier film doesn't help the episode. And again, just want to get this out of the way really quickly. The giant aliens that get wedged in the corridor, for me, lost any and all threat at that point, which is a shame because the idea is very, very good. And I absolutely will say, as the episode goes on, the idea then gets moments where it's executed well again. The big Donna, that's actually an up. yes, we do paradoxes here. I've got a paradox machine in the back. You don't? But no, seriously, there was some of the animalistic and quite frightening performances that came out of the Big Donna, or the design of Big Donna, that really kind of got me a little bit. We get the inevitable split up the team so that no one knows who anybody else is. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. It's half the fun of it. And so we get then moments where we get moments of them both on their own, and there is a scene I want to really concentrate on here, and it is the Doctor and faux Donna. You know, they do the thing where they convince each other, and you know, that's par for the course. Love it. Absolutely brilliant. Donna crucially mentions things that I suppose the Doctor Donna would know. They shared memories, so understandable. But this is the first time that we see 14 speaking to his companion about some of the stuff he's gone through. And we get a reference to flux, and that is an up. The reason I want to give that an up as much as I do is not just because, you know, everything is canon, everything's in together. It's not that. It's that this era of Doctor Who has a job. And that job is, you know, how do we marry in what we've learned about the Doctor and about his history? In this scene, the faux Donna says, well, see, it's not true that you were born on Gallifrey because you don't know where you're from. And then we invoke flux. This, of course, is invoking the timeless child as well. And the Doctor is just, you can see him, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I'm not ready. I haven't processed this because, of course, I mean, both time has and hasn't gone by. But then you have the Doctor's best mate is saying, you can talk to me about this. And the Doctor basically breaks at one point and says, half of the universe got burned because of me. And the faux Donna says, this wasn't because of you. It's not your fault. And the gut punch when she laughs at him. That vulnerability. How often do you see the Doctor get that vulnerable with his companion, his friend, with whomever, to have Donna, or faux Donna, walk forward and then dissolve a little bit and go, and just laugh at him. That was brutal, and that was an up. Which definitely counters for the other room where we see the Exor Doctor, and that was a down. Look, as Danny says, that's going to make a fabulous thumbnail on a video in years to come, but we just got one of the most heart-wrenching scenes of the episode, and then it was followed up by, head in your bum. Okay. This leads to the inevitable scene of all four of them together. You got the Doctor and the Donna and their doppelgangers. Up. This was just a stellar scene in terms of acting, reacting, which is, yeah, listen, I am no actor myself, but I believe it's one of the core tenets of acting is like, reacting is half the battle. And it's played very well because Tennant and Tate both play sinister as well as they play hopeful. And so on that, Tate and Tennant, and it feels like an added on up. It's not, it's a massive up for this whole episode. They are so fabulous together in this episode that, you know, if it's one of them, two of them, four of them, it works and it's great. It's slightly confusing at times. That's the point. But this scene with all four of them together, you could have done an episode of just that and it would have worked as well for me. I do have a little down, and it's the salt gag. It's actually not the gag itself, it's the fact that, of course, Donna's the one, or faux Donna's the one that will fall for the salt thing. And it was so obviously a way of like, get her out of the way so that we can have a little bit of exposition one-on-one with the two Doctors. And that's, yeah, it just felt a bit, get her out of the way. Thankfully, it doesn't last long. And I don't mind the gag itself. I thought that was good. Of course, the Doctor has a salt cellar. Of course he does. I mean, he carries his mini Dalek around with him everywhere. We get back to the bridge and there's only a glass barrier dividing them. And what has become so apparent is the Doctor's figured it out, is that whatever these are, they are imitating the Doctor and Donna. And so I realised we've not had much time to breathe on this, but what we think, Danny put forward this theory, and I love it, are these an evolved form of the Midnight entity? Possibly not. Possibly they are just standalone and they are what they are. But think about it, with the Midnight entity, it imitates your voice first, and then it takes you over. And it incapacitates you as well. So the difference there being, effectively, as it got stronger, you got weaker. Well, what's to say it doesn't change its form, change its way of doing things? We're now in the final act of the episode, and we've had what we realised, and we probably all realised a little bit, was there's a countdown going on the ship. And we get the banging that is ringing through the ship as well. And I'll be honest, I thought it was like, oh, is that the TARDIS just floating outside? No, it's both better and a bit grimmer. It's the former captain of this ship, slightly tethered, floating around the ship forever. And the design of this alien, who we have lovingly dubbed Captain Horsey, it's quite alien, isn't it? I mean, yes, it's clearly a kind of a horse's head, but it's, why should it be human? And I really like that. I had a moment, right, where I was just like, tell me the skin didn't dissolve in a vacuum. And then I went, well, hang on, Sean, how do you know that she had skin? So, yeah, no, never mind that altogether. Love the design. Love the gradual realization and the twist. I was like, she set a countdown. She knew it had to be slow so that they wouldn't figure it out in time. So that's why it's been 3 years. The TARDIS being the TARDIS dropped the Doctor and Donna off exactly where and when they needed to be. And we get our final setup. We get everyone is running down the length of this corridor. Russell T Davies is back. Faux Doctor is way ahead. So, which leaves real Doctor alone enough for, as we all knew was going to happen, the TARDIS to arrive straight away. But the Donnas are of a pace. The Doctor, now in the TARDIS, has to get back to Donna. So what does he do? He rides the bloody thing like a skateboard, taken up. Now this leads to a bit where you've got the two Donnas standing side by side. The faux Donna has now effectively taken on, she is Donna, for want of a better word, except the fact that she knows where she came from. And the Doctor says, an allusion to an earlier joke, what was the choir conductor's name? They go, Mrs. Bean. And he goes, why is that funny? And one of them says, because it's the name of a vegetable. Why would you give it to a person? And the other one goes, because it just is. And I think we were all on the same side when the Doctor goes, take my hand, takes her on board the TARDIS, closes the door, starts to head away. I mean, you could see the evil smile straight away. And then you have Donna, the real Donna, is trapped on the ship. Jimbo has eventually got down to the self-destruct button, pushes it, boom, goodbye faux Doctor. And then you've got one of those nice kind of like really slow, you see the explosions coming closer and closer. And poor old Donna, like she thinks she's licked it. And she's like, don't know what to do. In fairness, there's not much she can do. The Doctor being the Doctor. When he took faux Donna's hand, something clicked him and went, hold on, that wrist is 0.06 centimeters too big. Scans her, realizes it's too big, turns the bloody, platform into a slide and whoop, out the faux Donna goes, in the real Donna comes. But I will say, that Donna death scene, that's enough. I know we've done fake out deaths time immemorial in Doctor Who, but I mean, it's the anniversary special. You can kind of do whatever you want here. Then they're on board the TARDIS and they're heading back toward Earth. And we kind of get a bit of a breather. Now, I've got to give a solidarity down here, which is the Doctor got away with that one pretty easily. We had none of Donna going, what the hell? You picked the wrong one. Yeah, I don't care. 0.06, whatever. You know who I am. Then, we land, and as this is the gag we alluded to earlier on, that he was actually maybe a day or two out instead of getting back at the exact minute. So yes, I do think Donna maybe gave up a little bit early, but sure, look, didn't he get her back at the savior? I wasn't ready. There is somewhere online an image of me, I'm not even glistening eyed. I mean, I had tears running down my face. Wilf. Now, I'm gonna need this for all of this scene. Bernard Cribbins, what is there to say? Wilfred Mott is sitting, waiting in his wheelchair for the TARDIS to return, which it does, and we get just this glorious little exchange where Donna comes out and gives her granddad a hug, and, the Doctor, this is the face that Wilf knows, pops his head out and Wilf says, hey, that face. And the Doctor goes, Wilf, me old soldier. Now nothing could possibly be wrong. Nothing can be wrong ever again. Cue explosion. But this whole scene it's perfect. It was revealed within minutes of the episode airing by Russell T Davies and by the BBC official Twitter account that this, in fact, is the only scene that Bernard Cribbins was able to film for the 60th anniversaries. And that is heartbreaking. It is a beautiful little send-off. And you know, we next week is clearly going to be so action-packed, and there's so much going on that there is no such universe where his presence will not be felt and his absence will not be felt. But the man was 93. He played a blinder. He played a blinder. There are some beautiful moments in the behind the scenes which are available on YouTube. I'm sure if you have iPlayer as well, there's Doctor Who Unleashed, but where he's interviewed and speaks about his experiences. I really recommend you go and watch them. But for now, this was without question. We don't have a graphic for what our top up of the week is, but while we figure out what that is, it's this. Bernard, wherever you are, thank you for everything. Cheers. And that is it for Wild Blue Yonder. So next week, we have the third and final special, which is The Giggle. And this is the one, in a way, I think we've all been waiting for, which is Neil Patrick Harris is here as the toy maker. We get that shot, unfortunately, of David Tennant starting to glow again, but cutting straight to Ncuti Gatwa standing in the 14th Doctor's regeneration outfit in the TARDIS. There's next to no context. We know that people are starting to go mad. We see that great scene of the toy maker with the marionette and the strings. There's so much. In fact, we have a video coming out on the toy maker, should be in the next week. So keep an eye out for that one, which alludes to a little bit of maybe what we've gleaned about this character going forward. We've seen other things in other trailers. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a riot. It's going to be a big one. Please make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing to these videos. You are wonderful. You are awesome. You are everything I want to be when I grow up. Look after yourselves. Happy birthday once again to Doctor Who. And we love you, Bernard, wherever you are. Keep things wibbly wobbly, folks.